It's like the size of my face. I could have built a tree house in it. So
Swiss Family Robinson.
yeah, for real. That's gonna be the new ride. Good morning, friends. We are here on the Skyliner. We're on our way to the hub and then over to Hollywood Studios. Then we're gonna tear up Epcot later. Epcot. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, Renee's with me.
Howdy!
Howdy,
We are now
she
sailing
says.
over Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, where every day feels like a Junkanoo celebration.
She's with us too.
She's ready to party.
Anyway,
Announcer woman.
we'll keep you updated as we go along, and we'll talk soon. And boom. So there was absolutely no one in line when we got on the Skyliner at the Riviera station. The Riviera station was actually located right next to the building that our room was in. So for those of you staying at Caribbean Beach, if you're in the Aruba section, you might be closer to the Riviera station than the hub station. So just keep that in mind. I actually like the Aruba section a lot because it's right next to where the bridge comes across Caribbean Cay, which means it's not too far from the main area and it's really close to the Riviera Skyliner, so it's perfect. We arrived at Hollywood Studios and the first place we went was Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but of course that's the first place that everybody goes, so we decided to pass through and go to Toy Story Land instead, since Galaxy's Edge was just oh so crowded. The first ride we went on was Slinky Dog Dash, which is kind of an interesting place to start, but the wait time was only like 40 minutes, which for that ride is pretty low. And it's of course a favorite of mine, and Renee ended up liking it too. It's moderately intense, but it's certainly better than your average family coaster. From there, we went over to Toy Story Mania, and even though it had a posted 35-minute wait, which I wouldn't normally wait that long, Renee had never done it before, and it is definitely a cool experience for first-timers, and we only ended up waiting about 25 minutes, so it wasn't too bad.
It's a ride that's a game. It's a game that's a ride. Step right up and see what's inside.
So we decided to skip Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin because it had a posted 30-minute wait, and I just don't think that ride is worth that long of a wait. So we made our way over to Hollywood Tower of Terror. As someone who didn't know what to expect, Renee was pretty nervous about this one, and then when we got on, I also became kind of nervous. That's one of the things I really like about this ride is there's just an unpredictability to it, and while the dropping and launching sensation is fun, it definitely creates a unique ride experience. I've ridden the Guardians of the Galaxy version of this ride at California Adventure, and I do enjoy the upbeat and overall more exciting vibe that ride has, but even still, Tower of Terror ranks really high on my must-ride list because of the theming. After that, we did pass back through Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but Smuggler's Run had a posted 55-minute wait, and as to be expected, Rise of the Resistance was at 95 minutes. We also considered Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but that was posted at an hour, and with Hollywood Studios getting more and more crowded by the second, we decided it was time to hop over to Epcot, and since at this point we'd ridden all the other forms of transportation, we opted to take the Friendship Boat. The last time I was at Disney World in October, I got to take the Friendship Boat for the first time, and it's a really cool experience. But if you're trying to get to Epcot from Hollywood Studios or vice versa, that's not the fastest way to go about it. If you're trying to get there quick, just take the walking path. Upon entering World Showcase at the International Gateway, we decided to go to the right through France and work our way around from there. The first place we really stopped at was Morocco. Renee is of half Lebanese descent, so anything Middle Eastern catches her attention, and that's such a nice pavilion to just walk through and explore. And from there we just started hopping from pavilion to pavilion, going in that sort of counterclockwise direction. Hi, so we're here at Epcot, and I'm drinking some whiskey. Wait, what is it? Sorry, bourbon beer? The bourbon? What?
Tasty bourbon beer.
Tasty bourbon beer? Kentucky. Because, you know, of all the booths that I would go to in the World Showcase, I went to the America one. Because America. But anyway, it's tasty. This is like a really good beer, actually.
Highly recommend.
And Renee had a wine. What kind of wine did you get?
Chardonnay in Italy, Italia.
We'll talk soon. Renee was more into exploring than eating and drinking, which was good since we had a lot of pavilions left. We made our way around through Germany, of course hitting all the pavilion shops and stuff along the way. I got a beer in Germany and we went into the caramel shop to look around, and even though I never buy anything there, that place smells amazing. We passed through the African outpost and then over to the China pavilion. One of the good things about having Renee with me on this trip is that in the past I hadn't really gone into the further back interior portions of a lot of the pavilions, like China for example, and on our way in someone offered to take a picture of us, so it was nice to get a full-length photo of us in front of the main building. And then I took a picture of just Renee and she took a picture of just me. The one of her was taken on her phone, so it didn't make the video, but here I am showing off the building to you before we went inside. And once we got in there, the next show was like 20 minutes away, so we decided not to wait around for that. In the future I do want to see the Circle Vision show they have, because for some reason it's never really worked out in the past. And that's another thing I really like about Walt Disney World is no matter how many times you've been there, there's always something you missed last time or something new that you've never done before. And I guess that's kind of genius on Disney's part, giving people multiple reasons to come back.
Hi friends, so we just stopped for a drink. I got a cantaloupe and some egg rolls and another cantaloupe and a Renee.
Part 2.
And we're here and we're gonna take a sip.
Oh, I was already sipping it.
Cheers.
Oh, sorry, I'm excited for it.
She was ready.
I was ready.
We'll talk soon.
Hi.
After our snack, we made our way through the Norway Pavilion and into Mexico. I got a margarita from the bar inside the pyramid while Renee looked around at all the little gifts and knickknacks. The margaritas in there are a little bit pricey, but they're very, very good. And honestly, nobody makes drinks like Mexico. From there, Renee wanted to look in the gift shops and all the different booths, so I decided to grab some poutine from the booth they had set up in Canada, but they didn't have malt vinegar there, so I went over to the UK Pavilion to get some of the malt vinegar they have for the fish and chips. And I looked for a table by the water, but they were all taken, so I just decided to go back out and pop a squat on the curb. And while the poutine at Disney Springs is definitely better, it was nice to have that to munch on while Renee explored and did her thing.
So hi friends, I found some poutine. So that's what's going on right now. Renee is inside the UK Pavilion shopping. I got the poutine in Canada, obviously, which is right next to the UK, so it worked out. And I am waiting for her to finish up whatever she's getting for whoever she's getting it for. And then we're going to head over to Magic Kingdom to watch some fireworks. So should be a pretty good close to day 2. I'm going to make her talk to you a little bit more because she's a little bit worried that the only time that I put the camera on her is when she's drinking something, and that you all are gonna think she's an alcoholic, which she is. Like, don't let her lie to you. I'm just kidding. She's she's so much more than that. Anyway, her and I both will talk to you soon.
To sort of clarify, since it's not always easy to tell if I'm being serious or not, Renee actually paces herself really well when she's drinking, especially when we're on a trip together. She's a great travel companion because she's a really go-with-the-flow kind of person. She doesn't need a lot of like crazy, thrilling, constant craziness. And she's also not afraid to go off on her own in the event that we want to do 2 different things. So it's very, very low pressure. Up until COVID, her and I had kind of a tradition that we would go on a friendship trip every year. Unfortunately, 2020 didn't allow for that, so we skipped a year, but this was our 2021 adventure, and I have to say it was a pretty darn good one. After we were content with everything at Epcot for the time being, we made our way over to the monorail station to get to Magic Kingdom. From there, we hopped on the ferry, and it's super cool to come in on the ferry as it's getting dark and you can see all the lights of Magic Kingdom getting bigger and bigger in front of you. Once on Main Street, we decided to go into the Emporium. I hadn't actually done any shopping yet myself, so I wanted to look around in there, and of course Renee had some things she was still looking for and hadn't been in the Magic Kingdom Emporium yet, so that was our first stop. After about 30-40 minutes or so, I didn't really see anything that called out to me, so I went out onto Main Street to try to save us a spot for the fireworks show. The spots I initially saved ended up not being of any value because they made us all get out into the street anyway, and for safety, no one was allowed to sit down during the show. We did end up with a pretty good spot right smack dab in the middle of Main Street, and compared to our view of Harmonious at Epcot, we were literally immersed in the Magic Kingdom Enchantment show. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of this show and prefer Happily Ever After, which was the previous Magic Kingdom Fireworks Spectacular, but I think the soundtrack for this show is really, really good, and I love how they incorporated the buildings on Main Street in the lights and effects and stuff. I will say that while the magic is within you sort of idea is good, the one world together philosophy of Harmonious at Epcot is a little bit better in my opinion, even though in true Disney fan fashion, people seem to be divided on both of them. This was hands down the largest crowd we'd seen the entire trip, which made us both a little bit uncomfortable. But anyway, I'm just happy to see fireworks shows and different types of experiences back at Walt Disney World. It's easy to forget that only a few months ago, all of those things were on hold. And I'm really hoping that Fantasmic at Hollywood Studios will return soon, because that's hands down my favorite show. Soon the lights went down and the music started and fireworks started shooting off into the sky. And we enjoyed the show for what it is. Renee even reported that it got her in the feels, which I think is a good thing. And then after that, we waded through the crowd and made it back over to our hotel. And it was still early enough for us to get a little bit of time in the pool, which we did before getting some food and then heading back to our hotel room for the night.
All right, so we're back at the room. It's been another fun-filled day. We just had some dinner. I got some chicken. Sorry. I got a chicken plate with some rice and some seasonal veggies.
Seasonal from the show.
And for the seasonal veggies, they brought me like they brought me their entire like landscaping. I'll insert the pic here so you can see that. Yeah, that's a piece of broccoli. I'm assuming. It's like the size of my face. I could have built a tree house in it. So.
Swiss Family Robinson's.
Yeah, for real. That's gonna be the new ride at Disney World. But anyway, guys, like, it's always like fun. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Anyway, they probably think we're drunk. We're actually like perfectly sober. We only had like 2, 3 the whole day. So
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. The World Showcase was great. We ate our veggies today. It was a good day.
We're big kids now.
Anyway, we're gonna go get some Z's. Well, we're gonna stay here and get some Z's. We're not going anywhere.
We're gonna go back to the shrubs to sleep.
Go sleep in our seasonal vegetables. But y'all have a good night, and we'll talk soon.